if white people flexed, we'd have to conclude that they actually run this country. Because I know we say it in terms of the economy and those things, but for the ordinary black child out there, it's like, bro, we can't afford to lose white people. So behave.
Yeah, I mean,
because if they leave, our politicians would have to shift how they move.
It's
or
asylum.
we'd have to beg them to stay.
Asylum.
He gave them asylum. So they have to apply.
Okay, now this Polak PLC says Afrikaner refugee program. That is down Trump's immigration.
But it's whatever. It's a technicality that people
about
can
it
look
depends
up.
as well. In 94, I mean, prior to that, in the 80s, you're Mandela, you're coming out, you're going to be the president. The wisest thing that part of the wisest thing that Madiba did was to have that government of unity where it's both black and white. Because ultimately, you know that my people have never run a country. It's just a fact.
Yeah,
you can decide, you can run away and say, Mandela's never run Itembisa or Alex. He knows nothing about governance. So he knew that I have to keep some of these people. And it's unfortunate that 30 years later, we're still finding ourselves in a position where we still rely on them for the economy to still function. Remember, South Africa still is what it is because there's white people in South Africa.
Yeah,
the other places,
the noise they always make is that white people own the economy. In other words, it's still owned by them. After 30 years.
The rest of Africa, compared to where white people have left, it has been through shit.
There was somebody, actually, I read the other day. So when the Afrikaners took over from the British, I think the British had Standard Bank, and they had, they made two examples. I think it was Standard Bank and Old Mutual, for argument's sake. And then the Afrikaners came in and they said, instead of trying to get a share of this Standard Bank thing, let us copy exactly what they did. And then they started like Volkskas Bank and Landbou Bank and Sanlam and whatever those are, that later became the Amalgamated Banks of South Africa, which is ABSA.
Yeah.
Standard Bank didn't go away. Standard Bank continued operating, but now they had their own banks.
Yeah.
Then they imported skills, like I said, like the engineers that came from Germany to come and industrialize our mining sector, big steel, ISCO, ESCOM, etc.
Hendrik van der Bijl, I think, studied at some point in Germany.
Right. So what they did is they upskilled their people to be ready to run a country. Since 1994, when we came in, we've upskilled no one in government. In fact, we've merely installed the people whose names we knew from 94 are still there. So we have ministers like Naledi Pandor, who...
She left to Mama last year, but she was there till last year, yes.
Right, but my son, it's 2025 now. We had the same person in from 1990. What new skills did she learn at her graceful age that could help us, as me and you now, at our ripe age of 31, to take over?
Ripe age? Keep going, Warras. Hey.
Warras.
I see Pry, wala?
Right? What did they bring in and develop so that the next generation of people, I'll use a practical example of myself, okay? I recently got a phone call to do a new TV show. Now, I was last on TV for Live Amp, which I started in 2012 and finished in 2018. 19. So I was on for 7 years. It's the longest time anyone's presented that music show property on SABC 1.
Dope.
I'm a boss. What can I say?
Okay, let's take it easy there.
It's also because you know my ethnic background.
Okay.
You see, you're going to go very far and wide to find another Mexican who speaks Zulu and used to be colored, but is now Scandinavian.
Hey, send this guy back to Frey.
Baphelile man. Telemina. Uyangithola? Telemina.
Keep going.
Uneo, the only one.
Uneo.
Uneo, the one.
Excellent. Thank you for visiting our podcast, Warras. We'll see you next week.
Manage Morpheus, as I was saying. Oh, shit. Even more of young. Penwell was actually the first person to put me on a podcast, and what a mess it was. Right? So, on this call, I won't disclose what show and what channel.
Sure.
You'll see, I suppose, when it comes out. But on the call, the exchange that we had, this is somebody I used to work with at Urban Brew 10 years ago. This person has left Urban Brew since, started their own production company, and has been doing shows, right? And she was like, check here. Penwell is going to call you, right? Because there's a new TV show that's starting. And I was like, okay, who's Penwell? So she's like, nah, Penwell, it's like someone that came up under me, was interning with me at Urban Brew, and now they're doing their own thing. Kodwa, we were having the discussion about who can we get to present this show. Right? The person needs to check X, Y, and Z boxes, right? You know the story. You must be male. You must be able to speak vernac. You must be good looking. You must be able to conduct an interview.
Good looking,
blah, blah, blah.
but
Of course, I'm cute, bruh. Believe it or not. Right?
or not.
I told you on the last podcast, I'm good looking. I'll tell you again. But anyway, if you're looking for someone to tick all of these boxes, it's almost like after our generation of stars, right? Let's call them, they're called SABC 1 icons. So SABC 1 icons are people like Robert Marawa, right? Who I attended an event, the launch of the Dome at FNB Stadium. Robert Marawa was the host. This was a big deal. Gayton McKenzie was there. We had the mayor there. We had Premier Panyaza Lesufi was there.
The mayor's Dada
It was
Morero.
but I'm yes.
I
Mayor,
see you name dropping.
Sorry.
Go to mayor is
Yes.
just Dada.
Sure. Sorry, Mr. Mayor. The point is, star-studded event. All of the big heavyweights were there, and it was hosted by who? The heavyweight of sport, Robert Marawa.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know Robert Marawa used to host Simunia Grooves? The man has been on for 30 years.
Yeah.
Who name someone who comes after Robert Marawa who's between 20 and 30 years old?
There's no one, because I'll tell you, even Andile Ncube being groomed is our age. He's
No,
older.
but even Andile is a SABC 1 icon. He was on live. He had the biggest song at the time. Remember, I acted out my life in stages, 10,000 people watching. That track was huge, bro. Right? You had Bonang, you had Pearl Tusi, you had Lerato, you had Lutlove. All of these people, Mani Dlamini, Thibaut Touch, Sizwe Dlomo, these were all people who went through that school, that graduation of SABC 1 and being on.
Yeah.
If you look at the generation that preceded them, if we go back now and we look at Sbu, Fresh, Bad Boy T, like radio, television people, Melanie San, Bob Mabena, right? After this generation, Yabo Sizwe, Warras, Banban, Konaba. Like that's on that level, that reached that level of fame where they were on a show that had 7-8 million viewers every week for 5 years. Do you understand? There's a different value that you bring to any television property if that's where you come from. Abaseko.
You're right, Abase.
Abaseko.
But I will
And
say
I'm
in
not
their
counting
defense.
I'm not
I will
counting
defend
people
them.
that are actors and actresses. I'm not counting people that are on like the big soapies and like obviously. So the point I'm making is there was this sort of like this gap in like skills development, character development, artist development, whatever you want to call it. Where now in 2025, when they are looking for a host for a TV show that kind of ticks these boxes, you've got to go back and fetch previous generation niggas.
Yeah.
Because Abasaya Kabant in that 20 to 25 bracket. And when I'm like friends with a lot of like TikTokers. I've got this one light, he's here and he's my dude. He's my link to that world.
Yeah.
And honestly, with him and all his bras, they have absolutely no interest in it. They've got 3-4 million followers on TikTok. They're getting 10 million views, whatever.
Sure.
They are not interested in being on a TV show. Do you understand? They're like, nah, that's pop.
I was going to say the media landscape has also
changed.
Yeah.
Yes, but we still have TV. We still
still
have
have
shows.
TV.
There's
Still have radio.
Yes, there's massive
They
budgets.
keep recycling the same people in
Thank
radio
you.
as well.
And it's not because I'm the biggest boss to ever live. It's because we were the last generation who seems like they were interested in doing it. And the ones that are currently interested in doing it, it's either we can't find them, because we don't do stuff like we used to do, like Shell Road to Fame and
Talent scouting.
searches and presenter searches. Remember, Bonang won a presenter search. Minnie Dlamini won a presenter search. Sizwe Dlomo won a presenter search.
Andile Ncube.
These were like national campaigns. Yo, guys, we're going to be out at Umlazi Mega City today. It's audition abantu.
Yes.
Fika ngo-7 ekuseni, usiphathela usigqoke iskipa esi-black, kanjani. 6,000 people were queuing there on Saturday morning and 6,000 on Sunday morning. These were big deals. We don't do stuff like that. So maybe we're not searching hard enough, but this person was like, fam, there's no one else. You need to please just take a call because like it's at that point where we need the host. We want you to do it. Please do it. I haven't been on TV for 5 years. If I never ever got a call to be on TV again, I'm fine with that. I've since moved on. But I took it because it's a big bag. And why the fuck not? Let me also be back on TV. Is it the same as it was when I was on Live Amp or is it not? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's just, I'm making that example to say, you can't just, in any industry, you can't just kick everybody out and be like, we'll find new people. Because when it comes time to actually find them, and then you start seeing that actually we spend no time developing these people, we can't just throw you onto Nick, that guy in the Sunday Times commercial farm. He's got flippant.
Nick Sarfontaine.
Did you see that article? Yeah, like he's got cattle and tea and dude, he's running a massive operation. If you kick Nick out and then you give it to Penwell, you will fuck that farm up.